Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Attorney General, for being here. Yesterday, I sent you a 3-page letter with 7 questions on it. I know you haven't had time to go over those, so I ask unanimous consent, Mr. Chairman, to introduce that letter with the 7 questions for the Attorney General into the record to be answered at some appropriate time.
Without objection, the letter will be made a part of the record, and the questions will be submitted to the Attorney General.
Let me approach this kind of historically the way I see things occurring. And then I have 2 questions at the end of this dialogue. Over the last several years, government action has become suspect to many of us. In fast and furious government action. And we haven't resolved that yet. We're in court, and we still haven't got a resolution on the issue that whether the subpoena should be or should not be upheld. People died in fast and furious. There's been Ghazi, and there's some bungling going on, and what happened, who's responsible. 4 Americans died. But government action or inaction is suspect. Recently in Health and Human Services Department, there's accusations of improper use by people in office of their position to obtain funds to support the new health care law. We don't know if that's true or not, but government action. And then the 2 that we've been recently aware of, the AP reporters, 100 journalists, their phone records being seized, looks like bruising the First Amendment, at least to me. And by the way, yesterday I filed, Mr. Attorney General, the 2007 SHIELD law, filed that bill as well. President Obama supported it in 2007, and I hope we can get that SHIELD law passed through both houses this time. But the most recent is with the IRS and what's taken place not only with the IRS but other government agencies. And let me give you a personal case, a real person. It's a constituent of mine. Catherine Engelbrecht and her husband, they run a business in Houston. Catherine Engelbrecht decided just as a regular citizen to get involved in voter fraud and started a group called True the Vote and another group, King Street Patriots. And here's what she said in a recent interview. Quote, "We applied for nonprofit status in 2010. Since that time, the IRS has run us through a gauntlet of analysts and hundreds of questions over and over again. They've requested to see each and every tweet I've ever tweeted or every Facebook post I've ever posted. They've asked to know every place I've ever spoken since our inception and to whom and everywhere I intend to speak in the future." That's part of the comments. We've learned that the IRS has even asked this group and other groups for their donor lists. The federal government's snooping of Engelbrecht's 2 organizations included 6 visits from the FBI, set aside the IRS, 6 visits from the FBI, unannounced visits by OSHA, and even the ATF showed up several times to investigate this organization. And the Engelbrechts, both Catherine and her husband, have been personally audited. And keep in mind, Mr. Attorney General, Catherine and her husband have owned this family business for over 20 years, never seen an auditor until all of this occurred. And yet, here we are today, since 2010, they still don't have that tax-exempt status. I've requested over the years FBI, OSHA, and ATF FOIA requests to see if they're under criminal investigation. These organizations say, no, they're not, but why are they continued to be treated like criminals? The IRS response, as we now know, they have apologized. I guess they want this to go away by their apology. But meanwhile, back on the ranch, today, USA Today reported that only one Tea Party group's been given tax-exempt status, but numerous progressive groups have been given tax-exempt status in the last 2 or 3 years. Not much of a coincidence, as far as I'm concerned. So, based on my experience, being at the courthouse as a prosecutor, you as a prosecutor and a judge, it just seems like government credibility, because these are government actions. These are not private actions. These are government actions. Don't you think it would be best that since now FBI ATF, which is under the Justice Department, are involved in some of these accusations of harassment, unequal protection under the law, targeting specific groups because of discrimination. I mean, those are the accusations. That we should set your department aside and say, look, we're going to get a special prosecutor in here to investigate all of these organizations, all of these departments, to see if they are targeting specific conservative groups, for lack of a better phrase, for their actions, and to see if there's some violations about it. The Hatch Act, numerous law violations. I'm just asking you, do you think maybe that would help restore some credibility in your department if you set that aside and said, we're going to get a special prosecutor to clear this whole air and find out exactly what's going on in the government?
Well, I guess I would not agree with your characterization. It's a lack of credibility in either the Justice Department or any of its components.
Well, I'm giving you my opinion that the Justice Department lacks credibility in some of these departments because of the action by the federal authorities. So that's my opinion.
Okay, well, that's fine. I'll mark you as a fan, not of government. Bill Clinton once said that, the era of big government was over. I would say that the need for good government endures.
Just answer my question, because I'm out of time. I'm sorry, Mr. Attorney General. Just answer my question. Do you think we need a special prosecutor to prosecute these accusations?
And as I said, I think the need for good government endures. People talk about how government and government agencies do all these negative things, and then when it comes to Sandy, Katrina, wildfires, tornadoes, terrorism, the thing in West Texas, then people want government there. And that's my point is that the notion that government has, or that the Justice Department has credibility problems, I think is belied by the notion that people, I think, more generally have of government and the good that government does, and the need for, as I said, for good government.
I'll submit that question in writing then.
The gentleman submit the question in writing, and we will submit it to the Attorney General. And the Chair now recognizes the